Are you constantly taking on the emotions and feelings of other people? Hi, my name is Jillian, and if you're new to my channel, I'm a psychic healer and spiritual teacher. And today we're going to talk about absorbing and dealing with the emotions and feelings of other people, because for you sensitive soul out there, for you empath, for you clairsentient, you are a sponge for other people's energies, emotions, and feelings. And when you don't know how to properly disconnect from the energies that you're feeling all around you, it can get so overwhelming. It can get so draining to the point where you can end up having chronic fatigue, up and down moods, anxiety out of nowhere, and you just don't know what the hell is happening to you. Well, I'm here to help you out and give you some top tips and tools to be able to clear your energy and deal with the emotions and the energies of other people. So, if you are extremely sensitive and absorbent to energy, then this can present such a big issue in your life. I know it did for me. I was so sensitive to energy all of my life, and I didn't know what it was. I just thought I had chronic fatigue, or I just thought that I would just not want to be around people, or just feel really insular, or just so up and down with how I felt that it felt like I was on a roller coaster sometimes, because I didn't know that I was absorbing everyone's energy. And a lot of people out there still don't know that this is why they feel the way that they do, why they're starting to feel certain physical sensations. They're actually absorbing it from other people. Now, as an energy healer, as a psychic, I am extremely clairsentient, and you will find that potentially if you're highly sensitive to energy, then you also have a natural healing ability. It actually can become your superpower. So your level of sensitivity in turn can become your superpower. I remember when I was a kid, I would want to stay away from so many people. Like, I would spend a lot of time by myself. I didn't want to be around certain people because I could literally feel, and I was taking on their emotions, their feelings, their thoughts, their intentions, and it just was so overwhelming. It didn't feel good. And I had so many issues with sleep. I would sleep all through the day. I would have insomnia at night. I would have all these physical sensations, headaches, sore stomachs. And it was just where on earth did this come from? But it's because I was so sensitive to energies, and obviously a natural healer, because that's what I became later in life, that I was in directly absorbing all of the pain and the stress that the people around me, my parents, were experiencing. And I was absorbing that and taking that on as my own. And of course, how did it show up? It showed up as physical ailments. It showed up as mental fogginess. It showed up as depression. All of these ailments were actually a manifestation of the fact that I was absorbing and dealing with everyone else's bullshit. But I just didn't have any way or knowing to protect myself. The only thing that I did as a maladaptive way to protect myself was to live in my mind, was to truly disconnect from my body and disconnect from my own feelings and try and just live a life based in logic, which obviously doesn't work. Our own trauma, our own stuff lives in the body, so we need to really be present in the body. But I did everything that I could so that I wasn't present, because I didn't want to keep feeling everyone's stuff, because it felt horrible. And this might be something that you resonate with. Again, it's you can go to a doctor and talk about chronic fatigue or exhaustion or depression or all these physical ailments that you might have, and they don't have an answer for you. That's exactly what happened to me at such a young age. No doctor could tell me what was wrong with me, but I had all of these massive amounts of physical ailments, and it was because I was absorbing the semi chaos that was going on around me when I was growing up. And all I wanted to do was just retreat and ultimately sleep, because sleep for me was my distraction. Sleep for me was, I would sleep during the day when everyone was up and awake, and then I would wake up at night when everyone went to bed, when I could be at peace. And of course, this was a time where I was a kid, right? So I had to live in the house, and it was maladaptive, yes, but it worked in a way, because it's I just shut down when everyone's energy was up and around and awake. And the moment that there was peace when they were asleep, I had energy. I could do my thing, which again doesn't really work when you're at school and then you're sleeping through the day, not going to school, and then you are staying up all night watching TV. Again, maladaptive. That was a period of my life where that was literally what happened to me. That's how I managed to deal with the level of shutdown that I was having from feeling everyone's stuff. And of course, now I have some great energetic protection tools, but of course it still comes up for me. Like, this is a thing, if you are highly sensitive, then you will always be feeling and absorbing other people's stuff. And I was recently on a mastermind that I'm on, and I wasn't leading it. I was part of the group. And every time that I'm on this mastermind, whenever any of the other women are sharing or have gone through some certain problems or challenges within their life or business, automatically, the minute I'm looking at the screen and I'm seeing all of their little faces on the Zoom screen, I automatically just get like so exhausted, so tired. And the recent one, I was just yawning constantly because, again, I was inadvertently absorbing all of their issues and pain and releasing it through my body. Now, this is something that I've realized as a healer myself, that it's a very shamanic thing to do, is to absorb the pain of others and process it through your own body. And then my processing was yawning. So things like yawning are a way to release energy. So inadvertently, because I was part of that group, I was taking on their stuff and clearing it as they were talking. It wasn't ideally what I wanted to do, but I realized that's what was happening to me. So I was, during that call, whilst they were sharing and talking, I was doing my energetic clearing process for myself so I could clear, so I wasn't taking on their stuff, or that I could just shift it and clear it very, very easily. So, like, I think this is the misconception that maybe people have, is that, like, even if you're a professional healer, you have it all sorted and you're always protecting, you're always, like, your energy is always fully solid. It's not. Like, if you are so highly sensitive like myself, these things are going to happen, but it's just having the tools to be like, okay, well, this is happening, so how can I make this as easy and less, like, painful for me? Like, it isn't painful, guys, I'm just paraphrasing here. But yeah, it was just realizing, okay, this is what's happening. I'm processing all of their struggles and pain and their emotions through my body. And how can I just shift this and move this out of my body as quickly as possible? Even to the point where I had to put the brightness of my screen down, because it's like I can feel the energy coming through the screen. And it's really interesting what happens to me when there's too much information or energy coming towards me. Like, you will notice it in my eyes. Like, anyone that knows me, it's like my eyes just, my pupils dilate and I'm like staring into space, because it's just like an information overload. And this is like one of the things that I teach in my Rebel Psychic School, is how we all understand and receive information, receive intuitive and psychic information. And all of my clairs are pretty even, I would say. So I pick up information auditory, through knowing, through visuals and symbols, as well as through feeling. But that isn't everyone. Everyone has different clairs that they maybe work with more than others, or at least when they're starting to open up their psychic abilities, they'll maybe have a main one, and then that can open up to other ones anyway. But I am very clairsentient, guys, and if this is you and you're having these issues, then it is really helpful to be able to discern what is yours and what isn't. Like, are these things that you're feeling, has this emotion or this sweep of sadness or this sweep of anxiety or depression or insecurity, like, is that yours or is that someone else's? So learning, again, like, the secret is to be present and get in your body and be connected to yourself, that you can start to ask your own self these questions, like, is this mine? And see if you can get a yes or no. Who is this someone else's? Another thing that's really helpful to do is notice like who, like the people in your life or the places in your life that tend to trigger you into like absorbing the energy, or where it's so overwhelming for you. And again, I've been in many a situation with, like, for example, toxic work environments or toxic relationship, where you just like, it's so overwhelming because you can feel, personally for me, I could feel everyone's level of emotion and low vibration and toxicity, and like the habits that they had. Like, there was a point in my life back in the day, in my old work life when I worked in corporate, where I would be so anxious the minute I even woke up, because I knew I would have to walk into an office that was full of, like, I could just see them as black clouds around certain people. And especially if they're, like, we all have like the party goers within an office space, right? If there was a certain person, if they had been out and partied over the weekend, I knew they were going to come in with like the darkest cloud over them, and it was just this whole thing that, like, it was really difficult for me to navigate and manage through. And this is something I also feel really like passionately about, is there are so many sensitive people, highly sensitive people, empaths, clairsentients, healers that don't even know they're healers, that are in these toxic types of environments, whether that's in their friendship group, their family, their workplace, or in their relationship. And you're being so bombarded, and you're taking on and dealing with everyone's emotions, and it's hitting you in these ways that are so like they don't feel good for you. And it, again, can create all these different types of emotions, your whole mentality. You can change your thoughts because you're just absorbing everyone else's. So understanding, again, what's yours and what's not is great. Also, of course, getting out of those toxic environments, of course, if you can, do it. And I know that isn't as easy as like, oh, well, can I just quit my job tomorrow? But toxic people in toxic situations are people that are taking part in low vibrational like habits or activities, and that's how they operate and live their life. It is like, you cannot change anyone, so the only thing you can do is change, like, getting out of that environment. So again, if you're in any kind of toxic environment with people that just lower your vibration, that make you feel a kind of way, if you can shift and change that, then totally, like, do it. Like, you have total agency over what you do and where you put yourself. This is why I don't go to like bars or clubs or anywhere that I know there's going to be a lot of drinking or people taking drugs, just because like I am so like I can feel everyone's stuff. It just does not feel like a good place for me. And of course, if I have to go to that, like if it's someone's birthday, then I will make sure that I'm fully cleared, grounded, protected, and I have to do that like multiple times during the evening. And then especially like, and also when I like finish or I'm driving home or whatever it is. So again, it's just like, if you are highly sensitive to energy and if you are absorbing people's energies, it's just know again that you have agency. Learning to discern what's yours and what isn't is really important, and you can like work with it or resist it. Like that's kind of like the place that I've got to now with it. It's like, you can sit and wallow and be like, woe is me, why am I so sensitive, why am I feeling all these things, why, when I have the tools, that these things still can impact me. Like, it just is what it is. It's like every scenario is different, every situation is different. I also, of course, being a healer, like, I have very strong rituals and protection before I go into any client sessions, during any client sessions, and then after any client sessions. Like, the energetic management is so key because I am so important. Like, anything that impacts my energy, it's like, I'm so hot on it because I refuse to let anything impact my energy and my peace, because I know the impacts that it can have on me. And I just like, when there's options there to not have that impact you, then why would you not take those, right? And of course, again, there's so many levels of discernment to it, because you've got the side of, the toxic environment, or maybe the toxic type of friends that you realize do bring your energy down, or do impact you, or do make you really tired or fatigued, or, feel very drained after hanging out or seeing them, maybe there might be some people in your life that's actually a sign that they are no longer in coherence with you and they're no longer in alignment with you. So doing like a cord cutting or an energy clearing to clear like the sticky residues between that dynamic and relationship can be really, really helpful. And that actually doesn't mean that that will break the relationship. Ultimately, it's like when we do these clearings on these certain dynamics and relationships in our life, it actually gives us onus in a way to like rewrite the contract that we had with them and create a new contract that is aligned with where we're at right now and our own energetic boundaries. So yeah, I've done that so many with lots of types of different relationships in my life. And yeah, it's really kind of cut out the BS, because I have then made an intention and essentially like a new energetic contract that I'm only gonna fuck with like this and this and this, and these are my energetic boundaries, and this is how I choose to interact with that person, or be respected in this way, etc., etc. And this doesn't have to be like a contract that you have with them and you sign, like they sign it. This is just for you. It's an energetic agreement that you create through doing some energy healing or cord cutting or energetic alignment with that particular dynamic. So like there are people, again, this is just discernment, right, guys? It's like those knowing like that is a situation that you're in with a particular person versus, you being really impacted energetically by one of your closest friends that's just going through a really hard time right now, because that also can impact you, where you absorb and take on all their emotions and energies. And that can be horrific and draining for you too when you are so sensitive. But this is a different scenario. Again, this is where discernment comes in, because it's like you obviously want to be there for your friend, like you love and care about that person, but also knowing that the emotional state that they're in is really impacting you, is really making you feel a kind of way, and you are inadvertently absorbing all of their stuff. So again, if that's you, it's just like you said, you can learn the tools to be able to navigate those types of scenarios, because like you don't want to avoid your friend, right? You don't want to avoid their calls or being in close proximity with them when they need you. So it's again just working with what you've got, knowing that you can learn these energetic clearing tools and techniques to be able to navigate like any situation where you're feeling anyone's kind of emotions. Your sensitivity doesn't have to be your downfall. Like it doesn't have to stop you in your tracks. You can still live a beautiful, fulfilled life by just knowing your boundaries, knowing the proper energetic tools to be able to navigate your life. Because if you're super sensitive, shutting yourself down, shutting your own emotions and feelings down and trying to live in the mind is not going to get you anywhere. It's knowing what deserves to be worked with and where you're resisting, and having the tools to be able to navigate whatever situation it is, so you can actually still live a really fulfilled life. Because trust me, I know this is an area that I know well, that has impacted so many parts of my life in the past, from my energy, my emotions, my physical ailments. Like it has really been a real conundrum over many, many years of my life to understand that, like, why do I need so much rest? Why do I feel this kind of way? Why am I feeling like this? Why am I so up and down? It's because you are extremely sensitive to energy. You are highly clairsentient. And this actually doesn't have to be your downfall. It can become your gift. It can become your superpower. And actually, it is your gift. Like, if this is you, this is one of your soul gifts. You are extremely clairsentient. And what I will invite you to do is learn how to work with it. Learn how to master it. Learn how to... I feel like we can never really control anything, so I'm not going to say control, but just learn how to work with it, learn how to master it, learn the tools that work for you. Because again, every scenario is different, and having different tools and techniques at your disposal, as well as the intuitive nouns to know where you should be going, what you should be working with, who you should be in close proximity to, is really going to help you and help like understand what all this information is, and know what's yours and know what isn't, and clear it out. And also at the same time, if you want to go that step further, to hone this beautiful soul gift. And this is a psychic ability, guys. It really is. You can turn your level of emotional sensitivity into a psychic gift, where you can start to learn how to interpret these feelings and emotions and start to channel messages from your soul, from source, from your spirit guides, from like galactic beings. And the way that you're going to interpret these messages is through your body, it's through emotions, it's through feelings, it's through sensations. Like, this is clairsentient. This is one of the main 4 clairs that we get to play with in this material world, to understand our intuition and our messages and our intuitive nudges. But again, you can go that step further and develop your psychic abilities and really hone this skill to make it your superpower. So you're not getting bombarded with all of these emotions and feelings from other people that just leave you completely depleted and overwhelmed. You can learn the tools to start to decipher these messages, start to clear out the clutter of what is truly intuitive messages coming down from source or your soul, to help aid your life, to help you make decisions, to help you get clarity and direction on any area that you want to then do readings for you, to do readings for others, to then turn into a beautiful healing gift. Like, this is part of your soul growth. And this is a key thing that a lot of people don't realize, that our soul gifts, which a lot of the time are our psychic senses, are here to be mastered. Where at once they could have been our hindrance, and caused us much pain and challenge, which is for sure my story. Then when we start to learn the skills to master them and master our energy, is when we start to grow, and it's part of our spiritual evolution. It's part of our soul's growth. It's part of what we're meant to do in the world. It's part of our soul work, and it's part of how we interact and be of service to everyone else. It also is a superpower in relationships. Guys, if you are highly sensitive, if you're clairsentient, then like, whereas at the moment maybe it's a hindrance in your relationships because you're like, what am I feeling? Am I feeling this person's stuff? Like, you get overwhelmed, which I know is what I used to do back in the day in relationships. It can turn into your superpower, because it's like, oh, it's like you can understand someone on deep level. So you can have the most beautiful understanding, compromise, and relationship, because it's like, I can feel what you're feeling. I understand you. I understand where you're coming from. Like, conflicts are no longer, because you increase your capacity for empathy, but you're doing it in a way where you're like, I know this is your stuff and this isn't my stuff, and it's like, I can feel what you're going through. So again, it's just a superpower in every single aspect of our life, even like to the point of making decisions. Like, if you want to make a career decision, then tuning into your own body and your own senses to be like, this is the move for me, this isn't the move for me. You are your own oracle, guys. You are your own oracle. So this is how you deal with other people's emotions. If you are highly sensitive, and if you are highly in tune with energy, and you feel like you're absorbing everyone else's. This is also why it's a huge part of my Rebel Psychic School program that is launching very, 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 very soon, guys. Because I do believe that your sensitivity is, again, your superpower. So learning the correct energy hygiene and energy management and the tools to be able to understand your energy and the information, the psychic information that's coming through, is so key, and will honestly elevate you to the next level in developing your intuitive gifts, your psychic gifts, your healing gifts. Like, you are here to use them in the world, and that might not be as a healer, but it is part of your own personal growth journey. So if this is you and you want to know more, the details are below. I also have a free psychic development masterclass coming up where we're going to go into meet your spirit guides, and we're going to clear some psychic blocks that you have, because we all have some blocks that are preventing us from truly opening up our soul gifts, from truly trusting our own self. And we're going to see what those are. So again, that's a free masterclass coming up. I'd love you to be there. And there are other ways to work with me as well if you want one-on-one or mentorship. There's a plethora of opportunities depending on what you need and what you want. I hope you've enjoyed this, my beautiful sensitive souls. I feel you, I see you, I hear you, and you don't have to go through the world in this emotional turmoil and overload anymore. Like, we have the answers for you. Are you ready?